News.mc on Monaco Info is brought to you by Monaco Legend Properties. Our exclusive interview with the personalities making the Principality.
Hello, my name is Guillaume Rose. I'm the CEO of the Monaco Economic Board. I was born and raised in Monaco, of course. I left Monaco when I was 17. I went to Aix-en-Provence, then to Paris, to study cinema. In fact, I'm a screenwriter, basically. I worked 5 years in Paris in production, documentaries for the French TV, especially Arte at that time. Then I came back to Monaco. I was 26 to work for SBM as a communication manager. I stayed in Monaco since 1997 to work full-time, first at SBM, communication. Then I left for Las Vegas 1 year. SBM sent me to Las Vegas. I worked there learning everything about casino and resorts. When I came back 1 year after, I had the opportunity to become the executive assistant to the CEO of the Monte-Carlo SBM. I've been the head of communication for 3 years after. I've been the head of the communication department for the whole SBM, including PR. I stayed there until I became head of tourism board of Monaco. Then I became a civil servant. It was in 2011. And I stayed there until 2017. I had the occasion to meet, and it was one of the great encounters of my life, to meet Stéphane Valéry. And Stéphane Valéry asked me in 2001 if I was interested in joining the political party that he was forming. In 2008, I've been elected as a national councillor, member of parliament, and I stayed there until 2013. In 2013, I ran for the elections with Jean-François Robillon. So we lost because at that time Laurent Nouvion won. In 2018, I came back and I've been elected with Stéphane Valéry again. I became head of the commission regarding the discussions with the European Union. I've been appointed head of the committee for environment. I ran again for the elections and now I'm the head of the culture committee. My political life is still very active and I'm extremely engaged towards all that can make the Principality of Monaco move forward. In fact, I'm deeply concerned by the life of my country. Since I'm born, I'm keen of politics. It could be French politics when I was younger. Then I became really interested and involved in Monegasque politics. People speak a lot about politics like it's something nearly dirty. And in fact, for me, politics, it's extremely healthy because it means really taking care of the life of the city, taking part in it, giving new ideas, speaking. Parliament, it's really the word. We speak, we explain, we listen, we sometimes have to judge, but in general, what I noticed in my political life is that people are more interested in doing things for others than doing things for themselves. That's the case at least at the National Council of Monaco. I'm deeply passionate by it, and of course, it goes also to the job that I make at the Monaco Economic Board. My position at the Monaco Economic Board is a kind of politics. I mean, my politics, and I explain it very often, is that we've got to highlight the companies of the Principality of Monaco because Monaco is not only a place for tourism, it's not only a place for wealthy people coming back to Monaco or coming to Monaco, it's also a place for very dynamic companies. And it's for me extremely important to showcase these companies and to make them meet around all the companies of Monaco, meet together, find some synergies, find some solutions together. It's a kind of politics at the end. MEB has been created 25 years ago. At the end of the 20th century, there was no Chamber of Commerce. In Monaco, Prince Rainier wanted a Chamber of Commerce. He asked Mr. Pasteur. Mr. Pasteur created the first MEB under the name Chambre de Développement Économique, CDE. They began in 2000 and they developed. They became Monaco Economic Board in 2010 under the direction of Mr. Michel Dota. I'm the CEO. What is the purpose of Monaco Economic Board? To gather the companies of Monaco. It's an association of private companies. All the point is to make them work together, to promote them abroad, to welcome in the Principality of Monaco companies or associations or chambers of commerce of other countries. That's our main purpose. We are both a chamber of commerce and also a tool for attracting investors. Monaco Economic Board is only B2B. Monaco Economic Board is doing a job, let's say, of promotion in general, like a chamber of commerce, but as everything in Monaco is more personal, with a more personal touch. Today we are very proud to welcome 650 companies. So we gained 130 companies for 5 years. It's very interesting because Monaco is an economical tissue of small companies, not big. We've got, of course, on the top 100 of the companies of the Principality, we've got 96 of them. But I don't think that we have any sector that is not at all represented in the Monaco Economic Board. We are a very good sample of the economy of the Principality. You've got very small companies, you've got Monte-Carlo SBM, and between those two, you've got all the sectors represented and all the people of the sizes, let's say. People are always sure, abroad of course, are always sure that we have only millionaires and yachts here. But no, it's true that we have startups, for example, extremely dynamic. We've got companies that are well known abroad, less known in Monaco, which is very strange sometimes. My job is to promote them at the same level. We work both for promoting the small companies and helping the big companies to get bigger. I think about some companies like AMPM, for example, that is a huge company in the world, to get bigger in the Principality and to get bigger from the Principality, both destinations. Since I began at the Monaco Economic Board, we organize between 3 to 6 missions. This year we've been very lucky to go to Riyadh first in Saudi Arabia. Then we went to London with 52 companies. In Saudi Arabia we had 48. And we are going to Poland in 1 month with a little less companies, but still a significant part. These are not the only missions that we organize. These missions, of course, we open it to all our members. But we also work in close collaboration with the Department of Attractivity. We organize some missions, let's say more restrained, with the banking sector, with some lawyers. We explain what's the law in Monaco, what are the rules in general to attract some private investors that could be of interest for our companies, or, as is looking for the department of Frédéric Genta, attracting people who really want to live here. Because I remind that we are dedicated to the companies. We are not working directly with private individuals. We are not coming to any country to invest in that country. In fact, some people could get disappointed because they expect to see billionaires coming and saying, oh, I've got 2 million to put there, 3 million to put there. It's never the case. Of course, we work with normal companies. Monaco is really a place for entrepreneurs, not a place dedicated only to entertain the billionaires. Wealth is created and not only taken advantage of. We tend to disappoint people by saying we're not coming as investors, but more to explain what is Monaco, what is the economy, to find partners, to find companies that could be of interest for our own companies in terms of import, in terms of export. We're also looking for institutions abroad for our companies to be able to work with Chamber of Commerce in the country where they export. That's what we do. Every time we've got to fight against these cliches. But once it's done, we have wonderful encounters because people from Monaco in general are extremely well behaved. They expect professional environment, and the professionalism of our companies is always very well looked upon when we work abroad. Selling is a good word because we've got to have results. We work, we are paid by or subsidized by our companies and by the government to increase the sales of these companies. Our motto is to say that because in Monaco we don't have so many room for companies, we don't have so many room at the price of the square meter, we've got to create, we've got to think our companies, our startups, our companies in innovation. Innovation is a motto. We've got a lot of companies that take advantage of the image of Monte-Carlo to innovate, to propose other solutions, to sell new products or new ways of considering a product. We are a startup nation. We can say it because we've got a lot of young people with a lot of imagination from all over the world. We've got companies, of course, they are Monegasque companies, but founded by Dutch people, English people, American people, Russian people, Tunisian people, for example, or Moroccan. Because we don't have so many square meters, we've got to find solutions with less people and more products and more revenues, of course. Abroad, what people need to know about us is that Monaco is easy. Easy in which sense? Once you have proven your good intentions, that's the first thing, extremely important. You've got to be clean if you want to work in Monaco. That is not shocking for people, they expect that. But once you've entered the market, it works in the same time as a nation and as a village. The fact that we know everybody, the fact that Monaco Economic Board knows exactly where to find one solution, one partner, where you can find the best places to stay. We work with real estate agencies, for example. Everything is easy in Monaco in the sense that it's a small village. In 5 minutes, you can solve problems that could take a lot of time in great nations, let's say. It's really easy to make business in Monaco, and it's really easy to make business from Monaco abroad. That's what we promote. Security is crucial to our companies, to the companies we want to attract. Maybe one of the most important selling points, plus the fact that we are extremely well connected. It's very easy to work in London 3 days in the week and to live in Monaco the 4 other days. I say London, but it could be all around in Europe, even further. But security is crucial. Cybersecurity, security in general, not only for them, their activities, but for themselves. They want to raise their children in a very safe environment. One other selling point, if you want to attract people in Monaco, is of course the quality of education here. Education is international. International school or British School of Monaco, for example, but also the classical system that is based on, of course, national education in France. And that's one of the most important selling points. That goes, of course, with security, because you want to raise your children in a very safe place, especially knowing that you're wealthy and you don't want to take any risk with your children. We speak about one of our main assets also, which is stability. We don't only have one of the oldest countries in the world, but we especially have one of the oldest dynasties in the world. Apart from Thailand, this is the second oldest dynasty still ruling the same country. History is a part of what attracts people because they are reassured by the fact that the same dynasty is still there, ruling by the same ways, which is a mix of innovation and tradition. This is part of our speech when we travel abroad and we sell Monaco. Of course, Monaco is fiscally interesting. When you create your company, if you export your products, for example, you've got more or less the same taxes than we have in France, but you can find solutions. But what you have to know is that Monaco is not only fiscally interesting, it's interesting in terms of security, in terms of quality of life, in terms of education, in terms of web, in terms of coordination with the companies that are in Monaco, being nearby the airport and being so well connected to the rest of the world. The fiscal part of it is only one of our key points. It's extremely interesting when it comes to personal income. It's extremely interesting, but it's just one part of the many assets that Monaco has. The International University of Monaco, they are member of the Monaco Economic Board, very active members. We travel with them a lot to speak about education and the way they can find a university in Monaco. In order for us to promote the rest, which is the economy, we've got to prove that the university also could settle agreements, for example, with other universities. We did that in Canada, we did that in Saudi Arabia. We are working closely with them, and we are very proud to have them with us because they are extremely international and dedicated to the promotion of the Principality of Monaco, so they are very good partners for us. It's a tradition, yachting in Monaco, of course, and it's also a very good sector for our economy. We are part of the cluster yachting. The yachting cluster is also part of the Monaco Economic Board. So we've got also there again a close partnership. Of course, we are also present on the yacht show. Once again, in a small territory, it's very interesting to be partners with huge institutions like the yacht show or the yacht club. Yachting is really at the heart of our strategy because yachting is also one of the biggest places for innovation. Innovation in terms of yachting, when we speak about new ways of fueling the yachts, new ways of energies, of finding new energies like hydrogen, it's extremely important for us. As I said, innovation is crucial in Monaco or to our companies, and 9 times out of 10, these innovations concern the environment and the way to get greener. It could be digital, it could be just by introducing new practices. People abroad don't know how we are dynamic, is when they don't consider how many companies we've got in Monaco that work on protecting the environment, finding new solutions of doing business differently, and Monaco is one of the best hubs for that. We don't deliver labels because we are very keen on treating everybody equal and promoting oil companies, for example, the same way as we promote new startups. But even oil companies work in finding new solutions for environment and less polluting. You must know also that we organize a lot of conferences, and some of these conferences, called Club de l'Eco, are conferences dedicated to the impact that Monaco has in the region. And this Trophée du Club de l'Eco is also part of this impact on the region. Depending on the conferences we organize between 6 to 10 conferences a year, according to the opportunities that we can have and according to the actuality. Most of them are dedicated to our members. Some of them are open to everybody, especially conferences in English that we organize with CFM, that we organize with BNP Paribas, that we organize with Montera, 3 of our main sponsors. The conferences in French that we organize are opened only in general to our members, apart from some actuality in important things that could be open to everybody. But they also attract international people. I think especially of the Africa Day that we organize in conjunction with one of our main partners that is called CEMA, Club des Entrepreneurs Monégasques en Afrique. The African branch of the Monégasque entrepreneurs attracts in Monaco people from Africa during one exceptional day in conjunction with newspapers, in conjunction with institutions. We organize that Africa Day that takes more and more importance every year. We've got a lot of companies that work in Africa. In fact, we've got the Mediterranean part of Monaco and the serious part of being here, but we are dedicated to Africa. Therefore, we've got companies, Ascoma, for example, which is one of the biggest reinsurance companies in Africa. We've got the Monaco Resources Group that is dedicated to investments, especially in harbor investments, but that works in Africa a lot. And these companies are in the same times with a deep DNA in the Principality of Monaco, which is surprising because people don't expect that Monaco is such a gate to Africa. Yes, you mentioned Ditsman. Ditsman is very dear to our hearts also because they are very present in our trips. They are very well implanted all over the world. We've got, of course, SBM Offshore that is well known, but less well known than the other SBM, but still very well known. We've got some surprising companies that employ a lot of people in Monaco already and still employ much more people abroad, sometimes thousands of people. We've got also very well-known art galleries like Hauser and Wirth that are extremely well implanted in all over the world. Monaco is really not only for little companies to grow, for startups to grow, but also for huge and very well-known companies to settle a branch of prestige and of image. It could be an asset also for us sometimes when we travel abroad. We use their web. If you're aiming at working with serious and wealthy people, the fact that you're based in Monaco means 2 things. First, that you're serious and controlled, because everybody knows that you can't say, hello, I'm a company from Monaco, and not being a company from Monaco and not being controlled. The wealthy people and the people who has to know it know that in Monaco there are a lot of controls and that you can't pretend being from Monaco, so it's a level of quality. That's the first thing. And the second thing is that we are so well connected and so well known in the luxury world that everybody can meet from time to time in Monaco, like in summer, like at the Bal de la Croix-Rouge, for example. People of quality meet here, like they can meet in some Swiss stations, for example. They meet in Monaco, so they have the occasion to see the people who want to sell them things. It's not bad to think about selling things to wealthy people. That's what we do also. Working in Monaco has got these 2 advantages. First, they give you a label, and then you can see actually your customers in Monaco when you're aiming at luxury, of course. The main proof of the success of our companies in Monaco is the fact that employment is growing and growing for 20 years now. Of course, during the COVID crisis, couldn't have been the case, but really quickly after the COVID crisis, companies recovered, began to employ again a lot of people. Therefore, we're still growing with some inconvenience, like the traffic, for example, but most of them, it's a proof of the dynamic of the Principality of Monaco, of the economy of the Principality of Monaco. It's extremely dynamic, in fact. Innovation requires people, and more the people we employ are people of great education, great quality. The more we have, the best it is for the Principality of Monaco. But of course, we'll have to find solutions because we can't host as many employees that we will need working home and being employee of one of the companies of the Principality of Monaco. I speak especially in some sectors like the banking sector, is one of the solutions that we have to think about. I personally consider that the principal strength of Monaco is being so international. We have grown up with Italian, Norwegian, American, Arabic people from all over the world. We get along together very well. There is no tension. There is no racial tension. There is no religious tension. There is no social tensions. The fact that we grew together and that we live together with some dynamic communities, I think about, for example, the American community, the English community that is growing at a real quick pace, and the Italian community, which is extremely dynamic too. All of this gives a melting pot, a real melting pot in a very, very small pot. The fact that we are so much together in such a small country makes every one of us more international and more ready to conquer the world when we speak about companies. In terms of education, a huge asset. In terms of economy, a huge asset. And in terms of culture, a huge asset. What can we ask more? I think that at a point or another, we'll have to find an agreement, an official agreement with the European Union. We are part of it, whether we like it or not. The great meeting hasn't been this year, not been these past years. Maybe it will be later. I think that economically we can stay outside of this huge move. That's one thing. I think that we have to transform, to adapt. Okay, real estate has been extremely important for the Principality of Monaco for a long term. But right now, we've got to find other solutions and give more of our investments into new solutions, innovations, startups. What could be the Monégasque IBM, the Monégasque Google, the Monégasque, of course, at a small level, but all these companies began at small level. We've got to believe in new ways of considering the economy. And I believe that in 10 to 20 years, the economy won't look the same as it is now. Monte-Carlo SBM, for example, is evolving. We have to keep the casino in the sense that it employs our nationals, which is extremely important. But we also have to think about new ways of considering the game, being open to people who arrive from abroad and ask us, what if we consider the things differently? I think that we've got to be more open. And our future will be in opening the Principality of Monaco to other ways of thinking, other ways of doing business, new ways of doing business. Most of them exist already, but we've got to develop them and to invest in it. That will be the main challenge of the future years. Tourism is a part of the economy. Tourism has launched the economy in Monaco, we can say that, because our first economy was just exportation of oranges and lemons, and it didn't last, let's say. Our economy comes from tourism, but as diversified today, tourism is around, depending on the way you look at it, is around 10 to 17% of our economy, which is still huge, but of course it's around 10, let's say. And 10% is not enough for the whole Monte-Carlo, but we are still, of course, passionate of tourism. And because we have Mr. Guy Antonielli, who took the succession after me, who is clever in terms of understanding how economy works with tourism. We work together with culture, of course, and I try as much as I can to work together also with the scientific center, for example, which is part of economy too, with the Ballet de Monte-Carlo and all the culture events, what makes the soft power of Monaco abroad, ballet, opera, orchestra. We work with all, let's say, the festivals or the organization of festivals. I think about Monaco Mediax, for example. All that ecosystem and all these institutions dedicated to promoting the Principality outside and to show the Principality can shine in the world is part of economy for us to make people work together. What we call Monaco coordination, coordinating all the soft power of the Principality of Monaco. And more we see people interested in working together because, of course, we are so small that we can't stay where we are, seated in our castles, in our private castles. No, we can't do that. We've got to break the castles and work together. We've got only one castle in Monaco, and it's the Prince's Palace. I've got two passions. One is the cinema, because I never quit the world of cinema. And the other one, more productive, I would say, is history. I dreamed to be a teacher, history teacher, when I was a teenager. And then I changed my mind and I went to cinema and then to communication. But I'm still fond of history, and I think that we can find in the history of Monaco, if we speak about it, some solutions for the economy of tomorrow. What François Blanc designed and decided with the Prince Charles III still works today. François Blanc dreamed in 1863 to attract the wealthiest from all over the world by giving them the finest products on a very small territory, bordering the sea, with a wonderful weather, without any resources. But he thought that still we could attract them, and aiming at the finest product for the wealthiest in the planet. It was in 1863, 160 years ago, and it still works perfectly today. That means that in history, you can find the future.
That's all for today. Thank you for watching News.mc, your English rendezvous on Monaco Info. Discover more interviews and stories on our websites, news.mc and monacoinfo.com. This show was brought to you by Monaco Legend Properties.